Hello and welcome to Yoga Pose Breakdown. In today's class, we're going to review a single yoga pose. We'll practice how to get into it and out of it, and we'll discuss the proper alignment for the pose. I'll also mention the benefits and the things to be cautious with. So for today's pose, we are doing Warrior II. That's Virabhadrasana II in Sanskrit. This pose is really good for stretching the legs, the ankles, the groin, the hips, the shoulders, and the chest. It also stimulates your lungs and your abdominal organs. It can help relieve backaches and increase your stamina. Things to be cautious with are if your stomach is bothering you, you might not want to practice this pose. It can aggravate high blood pressure. And if you have a neck injury, you just want to be conscientious of where your neck placement is, and we'll discuss that when we get into the pose. So let's go ahead and stand up. And you don't need any props for today, but if you have yoga blocks, grab your yoga blocks. And then at the top of your mat, take your feet about hip distance apart. We're just going to warm up a little bit before we get into it. Take your arms wide up towards the sky. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Inhale and reach. Take a hold of your right wrist and lean to the left as you press your right heel into the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Take a hold of the left wrist. You're pressing your left heel into the floor as you lean to the right. Inhale, back to center. Arms go wide. Exhale, start to hinge at your hips. Your heart's going to come forward. Bring your hands to your thighs. With your hands at your thighs, send your sit bones away from one another. And then exhale, start to walk your hands down your legs and fold as far as it feels comfortable for you. This is the first fold, so we're just warming up. Inhale, lengthen into your half forward fold. Your hands come to above the knees. Exhale, see if you can fold a little bit farther. Bend your knees, take your arms wide. Inhale and rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. One more this way. Inhale and reach. Exhale. You can walk your hands down your legs or just hinge, fold as far as it feels good. Inhale, lengthen to your half forward fold. Exhale, you're going to plant your hands on your blocks or on the floor. And you're going to step back with your right foot coming into a high lunge first. So in your high lunge, your front knee is right over your shin and your ankle. And then it doesn't matter how long your stance is. So you can take as long a stance as you'd like. Bring your back foot close to the outside edge of your mat. And then we'll walk our hands up our legs to our hips. With your hands at your hips, you're going to turn and plant your back foot now. So your back foot, the outside edge of the foot, is parallel to the end of your mat. These toes are pointing to the side. Your front foot is still pointing towards the front of your mat. Now bend into your front knee so it's right over your shin and your ankle still. You want to keep that alignment there, and it doesn't matter how close your back leg is. And then start to wrap your left glute down and under so that it helps keep this knee open to the side. Tone your low belly and slightly tilt your tailbone towards the ground. Make sure that you have a slight bend in this back knee because you don't want to walk out your joints. And then hands at your hips, lengthen your side bodies, lift your shoulders away from your hips, roll your shoulders onto your back and open through the collarbones. And then you're going to open up through the chest so that your shoulders are going the same direction as your hips. Front hand goes directly out from your shoulder, and back hand goes directly out from your shoulder. Take your knees over your front hand and tell yourself, I am strong. Now, if you had a neck injury, instead of taking your hand or gaze over your front hand, you would just keep it straight with your shoulders, looking right where your chest is pointing. Take one more big breath here. Good. Go ahead and release your hands back to your hips. You're going to start to straighten your front leg and pivot on your feet. Or you can just step out of it. We're going to move to our other side. So in your wide-legged stance, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your right foot, that's what side it is, right foot towards the end of your mat. Bend into your front knee, so it's right over your shin and your ankle. Your back toes are pointing to the side so that the edge of your foot is parallel to the other end of your mat. And then tone your low belly, slightly tuck your tailbone. You're wrapping that glute so your knee stays open and you're not locking your back knee. Hands to your hips, lift from your shoulders, lengthening your side bodies. And then you're going to take your arms directly out from your shoulders. You can look back and make sure they're in the right spot. And then if it feels good on the neck, you're going to take your gaze over your front hand. Reach through your fingers actively and take a full breath. Remind yourself, I am strong. Good. Go ahead and release your hands back to your hips. Lengthen both legs. And you're going to heel toe or pivot on your ankles back to a wide-legged stance. We are going to practice another variation of this pose. So just give your legs a little shake. And we'll do it one more time. So come to the top of your mat. Inhale, hands up towards the sky. Exhale your hands to your heart. Inhale and reach. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen to your half forward fold. Exhale, plant your hands on your blocks or the floor. This time we're going to step back with our left foot into our high lunge. From there, turn and plant your back foot. And walk your hands up your legs to your hips. And then bend into that front knee. Make sure it's right over your shin and your ankle. Engage your core and just slightly start to reach your tailbone down towards the floor. Roll your shoulders back and then lift your side bodies. Lengthen the sides. And then from here, you're going to bring your back hand to the top of the back of the thigh, or the back thigh. And your front hand is going to lift up towards the sky. Now we are moving into our exalted warrior or our reverse warrior. And in this pose, you are lengthening your hips or lengthening your side bodies. You're lifting it up out of the hips. If you'd like to, you can start to add a little bit of a lean towards your back leg, but it's more about lifting than leaning. Take one more big breath here. Bend a little bit deeper into your front knee. Good. Use an inhale to come back up to your tall spine, hands to your hips. This time, we're going to bring our hands to our blocks. Try to tuck your back toes. Press off your back foot, step forward, and then step back with your right foot into your high lunge. I'm going to turn around so I'm facing the right way. Turn and plant your back foot so it's parallel with the end of your mat. Walk your hands up your knee to your thighs. Tone your low belly, and then bend a little bit deeper into your front knee. Wrap that left glute down and under, and then press your back toes into the floor. Lift the side bodies, open through the heart, and then back hand comes to the top of the thigh, front hand goes up towards the sky. Lift first, and then maybe add the lean. One more breath here. Good. Inhale to come back to your warrior two. Exhale your hands to your hips. And then you're going to bring your hands down to the floor or blocks. Turn and tuck your back toes. Press off your back foot to step forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Take a big bend to your knees, walk your hands up your thighs to your hips, and come back to mountain. There's one more way that you can practice this pose, so I'm going to show it to you before we go. If you have a chair available, I want you to grab your chair. Preferably one without wheels or armrests, but it's okay if they have a bowl. So you can actually do warrior two in your chair. Scoot your hips to the very edge of your seat where you still feel supported. And then from there, you're going to shift your right hip and your right thigh to the edge. Take 90 degrees with your legs so you feel supported. And you don't have to be right on the edge. You can be a little bit closer to the middle of the seat, whatever feels better for you. Line up your right knee over your right ankle, and then take your hands to your chair. Now lean forward and start to slide that back foot, or you can heel toe that back foot all the way back. Now you are making sure that you're not walking this back knee, toes pointing parallel with the end of the mat, and then your right toes pointing towards the end. Bring your hands to your hips, and then lengthen, lift up out of the hips. From there, you can take your arms out from your shoulders, or maybe take a reverse warrior. Take a full breath. Good. Release your hands back to your chair, lean forward, and you're going to drag, slide, or heel toe that back foot back in. Let's do our other side. Left hip and thigh supported by the edge of the chair. Take 90 degrees first just to set yourself up. You're going to lean forward over your left knee. Turn your right knee down. Your foot can come closer to you. And then slide that foot back. Turn and plant your heel. So your left toes are pointing to the side. Your right toes are pointing forward. Or maybe I got those switched depending on what's forward and what's side for you. Take your hands to your hips. And even though we're using our chair to support ourselves, you're still pressing your feet into the floor and drawing your feet towards one another. So much engagement that you might even lift up off your seat. And then open up through the chest. Your arms are going to go directly out from your shoulders. You can take your gaze over your front hand, your left shoulder, or left knee. And then take a big breath. You can always bring that back hand to the thigh, top hand up towards the sky if you'd like to do your reverse warrior. Good. And then on your next exhale, lower your hands back to your hips, bring them to your chair, and support yourself as you bring that foot back in. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today for Yoga Pose Breakdown, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time.